Sohan, the lob for Wemby, broken up by Holmgren, and then he challenges Sohan against the rejection.
The Thunder have a 97 defensive rating to start the year right now. 97 points per 100 is all they're allowing. That's 16 points better than league average, which of course is a silly but fun little stat after only a few games. But OKC's defense, with newly acquired Alex Caruso, is smart, it's long, it's swarming, and they're forcing 21 turnovers per game. Yes, that's unlikely to hold, but those are numbers we haven't seen from any defense since the 1980s, and OKC is both big at the rim with Chet Holmgren, but is also playing Caruso or Lou Dort as center in these crazy micro ball lineups. We will get to that in a second. Let's start with Chet, who has picked up right where he left off last year, where teams shot 6% worse at the rim with him on the floor compared to when he was on the bench. And if anything, he looks a little stronger and has a bit more experience and is leading the NBA in block shots. Here's another example where he ends up on Trey out on an island, tries to stay with him, and then that wingspan is just long enough to bother this shot from Trey, but he stays with the ball, and that second effort tips the rebound back to Shea. That triggers the fast break, and it's a 3-on-2, and off go the Thunder in transition. Now, here's the opening play of their game against the Spurs. Note that Holmgren is not on Victor Wembanyama. He's guarding the non-shooter Jeremy Sohan, so he can roam, while Jalen Williams guards Wemby, which makes what happens here even more insane. Not just the deflection, but that second effort for the block. And again, Chet's in a position here to switch onto Chris Paul way out on the perimeter, but he spots the lob coming right here when Wemby releases, somehow makes an incredible play to track that down, and then that Tim Duncan-like recovery to just turn and be right at the basket with verticality, another block. That's just spectacular. This time they're pretty small with just one big man on the floor, and so they're looking to post up Zach Collins in a mismatch. When Wallace's man clears out the side and goes to the opposite corner, the scheme dictates that he stay nearby to help on this post. That allows Shea to gamble for the steal, and he doesn't get it on the first swipe, but because Wallace is there, Shea can reach from behind, do his thing. Caruso pokes it away, and this is how you force over 20 turnovers a game. Just non-stop, all defensive type defenders in the right position in a great scheme. They double Jokic in the post, but then the Nuggets swing it around and cannot get an advantage. And anytime you see this, you say, how did the defense move faster than the ball? Shea goes to the first pass, everyone shifts over as Isaiah Joe gets there, and Aaron Gordon even tries to set a really smart pin-in screen, but Lou Dort is just relentless, swims his way around it, and now he can run Murray off the line right to Jalen Williams. They execute this beautiful late peel switch with Dort going back to pick up Gordon. Williams then has Murray in isolation, and this is just a spectacular defensive possession from the Thunder here. As good as they are with Chet, they've gone past small ball right into micro ball, playing 40 possessions this year without any big men on the court. Look at this. Alex Caruso is guarding the center. Shea is guarding Atlanta's 4, and they're still springing Case and Wallace on Trae Young, who bothers him through that screen, slaps it away, and now they have to come back with 7 seconds. You have to deal with Wallace again, stays in front of him, and forces yet another steal. Here's a slightly bigger micro lineup with Aaron Wiggins out there. But again, Jalen Williams takes the Nuggets center because these big, strong, versatile forwards and guards can just do everything, apparently. Caruso is on Murray here. Everyone stays at home. And I love how interchangeable these micro lineups are, because here you put Caruso on the ball against Trae Young, and then you can switch Jalen Williams onto him. Meanwhile, Lou Dort is guarding the center in this lineup because of his low base of strength that works against certain players. So depending on the opponent, this is both incredibly versatile, but also kind of nasty to deal with. Now Dort is out on Chris Paul at the point of attack. J-Dub is on the center Wembanyama. Caruso has the power forward Sohan contained. They have Case and Wallace guarding the other big forward Harrison Barnes. And the result of the play is this swarming defense, and you'll never believe this, another turnover for Oklahoma City, although this one they technically gave back. But I love how horizontal and quick and swarming this micro ball unit is, and somehow they don't feel super small, despite never having anyone on the court who is listed as taller than 6'6". And this is the dream of having so many players who are really athletic and long with big wingspans, covering ground and coming over to tip balls and make deflections like this. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, of course, led the league in steals last year, and you have to be really careful throwing entry passes around him because he's kind of mastered this slippery move working around the postman to get a deflection, but he's also long enough to occasionally come in and disrupt stuff at the basket from behind like this. Then you have someone like Kaysen who can literally just take Trae Young's lunch from him. I mean, this is like some Kawhi Leonard no you don't stuff from Kaysen Wallace there. And then you even get like a no-look steal from Wallace here, just being that disruptive, in denial on this play to take away the catch from Trae Young, sticks those long arms out for another steal. Obviously, we know about the torture chamber. They just make everything difficult. Swarming the ball, getting their hands everywhere, deflecting stuff, and then finishing it off with that rim resistance from Chet or some other player. In the third against Portland, they sent Chet to the bench with foul trouble, and in the next 13 possessions, forced 8 turnovers. To put into perspective how bonkers that is, they were forcing nearly twice as many turnovers per possession as the highest game ever recorded way back in 1980. And in their limited possessions this year, their micro ball units are forcing a turnover on 33% of their possessions. That's 1 in every 3 possessions they play, they've forced a turnover. That turnover rate would be double the highest overall mark set this century by Charlotte way back in 2006. So the Thunder are well coached. They can go big, they can go small, they have an incredible rim protector in Chet Holmgren, and they can throw a ton of point-of-attack defenders at you. And that is why, to start the 2025 season, they're looking like they could be the best defense in the NBA.